This week on Motorhead Garage, Brian and John learn about some exciting business opportunities with AP Laser. And later on, we're balancing tires, managing hot zones, and keeping suspensions flexible. Next on Motorhead Garage, presented by Dustless Blasting.
Welcome to Motorhead Garage, presented by Dustless Blasting. We're burning rubber in the shop today, but not in the way you think. We're actually burning rubber because we're using this incredibly versatile unit from AP Laser to engrave a tire. Kyle from AP Laser, you have engraved basically everything except this, right?
Except the tire. This is the first time I'm going to do it. And the cool thing is I get questions all the time. What is the coolest thing you've ever engraved? This one's going to be it for me.
So, you know, when we talk about AP Laser, one of the things that continues to blow my mind every time we talk to you is the fact that this same machine could be engraving a tire, engraving a piece of leather, and then engraving granite if you want to.
Absolute versatility. As you can see here, what we did is we're taking it unlike a traditional laser machine that you're stuck in a box. We pulled out the whole bottom so I can easily accommodate a larger tire in there and engrave and put whatever I want on it.
Yeah, and the speed that this machine works as well, I mean, is that dependent on the surface you're working with? I mean, talk to me about that.
Correct. So you're kind of depending on your image. Obviously, if you have a higher resolution image, I might take it a little bit slower to ensure the greater quality. If I'm doing a text image like this, I can just run it as fast as possible.
The physical kind of science behind the unit is one thing, and its actually ability to do what it does is one thing, but to me the beauty of this is the fact that you're giving somebody a business opportunity.
Absolutely. It's essentially, it's a business in a box. The way we, our systems come as turnkey. So not only would it come with the laser machine itself, but it comes with all the accessories you need to take on any job. It's going to come with the laptop, the software.
Wow.
We're going to send a technician to your location, train you on site, video training, 24/7 tech support. We've got it all.
We obviously have this unit in our shop for when you come in to visit and kind of show it off to us, but when it comes out of the mothballs and we go to plug it in, that's kind of literally what we do.
Pretty much. It's 110 volts, so I'm plugging it into a standard wall outlet. Again, just hooking up my computer. I'll do a quick alignment just to make sure the machine is shooting straight, and then I load my file and press start.
Amazing stuff, man. Talk to me a little bit about the technology that's actually causing the engraving action in there.
So basically, this is a 100-watt CO2 laser.
Okay.
What's happening is we have our power source in the back. A reaction's happening where it's shooting through a series of mirrors down through a focusing lens. So I'm getting a really small dot size so I can do the fine detail engraving like we're doing here.
Well, Kyle, I heard the beep, so I know the job is done.
Yep.
Well, we fished the tire out of here. We're going to meet a family that's actually made a business out of their AP laser machine.
I'm here with the family operation that took the AP Laser to the next level. I'm here with Steve, the dad of the operation, and Thomas, the son of the operation. Now, you guys are living the American dream. You're actually a farmer there in Kentucky.
Yes, sir.
Tell me, how'd you hear about the AP Laser, and what are you doing with the business?
All right. Actually, my mom and dad saw it on the Motorhead Garage, and they DVR'd it and got me to come over to look at it. And I said, hey, this is a great opportunity to introduce it to my sons. And so we just, like you said, want to live the American dream, and also just, you know, I think it's a good idea to have multiple sources of income. And so we went this route and introduced it to my son, and he was excited about it. So
It's a perfect route.
Yes.
Now, what do you do with it, Thomas?
So when we first got the machine, they were showing us how to do a lot of the software stuff on the computer. And so I was like, well, I can just do that on my phone. So, you know, it makes it 10 times more simple. And then, you know, just put it on my phone, send it to the computer, and engrave.
This is like second nature to you, right? Just program, phone, hey, it goes to the machine, everything's good?
that's right.
That's awesome, yeah.
I'm
we
the
can
setup
learn.
guy.
Yeah,
I set up,
exactly.
he does the computer.
Hey, let's look at some of this. I mean, this is cool. We go from one material to another, and the intricacies are unbelievable in this. Let's talk about the products.
Okay. Right here we got a piece of granite, and then we can go to leather, to also stainless steel, and then we've got wood here. And the area that we're really reaching out to is the granite, doing tombstones for funeral homes and those kind of things. And then we, like I said, can do the leather. We just a few minutes ago cut this out here, and then to go down to this smaller size here. And so that's exciting, and that we can do these different products. We're also exploring maybe looking at doing it on blue jeans.
Tell me about that piece of wood. I mean, this is amazing. The lion, what's in there, the detail that went into it, the big size of the piece.
Yes, yes. The thing about the AP Laser, we can be able to pull the Z table out, and we're able to do bigger pieces. And so we had a friend made the table, and we also had a friend that called and asked us to engrave the lion on it. And it took about a 3-hour process. You can see the picture, the way it turned out. It's awesome. And we've had a lot of people interested in that and just the capabilities that we're able to do.
Well, Line Designs are doing great things with the AP Laser. You guys see the flexibility of the AP Laser, but real excited to go look at the tire that Brian was over there burning some rubber. Let's see how it turned out.
So we've removed the tire from the AP laser unit, and you can see right here, I've actually added some paint to kind of accentuate the lettering, but Kyle stepped out to grab some different color paint so we can really finish this thing off with some flair, but it's pretty amazing. You got a rubber tire here, perfectly engraved. This is going to be a great gift to our friend Bill, who just recently sold off his tire shop. You know, we learned about how AP laser can become a family business and how it is very versatile. It can be used on all different types of situations. One of our most favorite products here in Motorhead Garage, the AP laser. If you're in the market, check one out. We'll be back with more Motorhead Garage right after this.
Motorhead Garage, presented by Dustless Blasting, is being brought to you by Alloy Gator. We're not reinventing the wheel, just protecting it. Reckless Autosports. Want the best? You'll find it at Reckless Autosports. Wacky 4x4. Pull them out with style. And by Dustless Blasting. It's the future of surface preparation.
Welcome back to Motorhead Garage, presented by Dustless Blasting. I am here with Bob Douglas from Rod End Supply, and we are joined by an array of the products that Rod End Supply produces. You also see this rock bouncer we got behind us. But before we get to the rock bouncer, Bob, I'd like to talk to you a little bit about what makes up a great rod end, because you know these things kind of all have that same lollipop shape, no matter who you're getting them from, but the quality is certainly not the same.
That's correct. The biggest problem that you have with a lot of rod end is material. You have to make sure you start with good material. We make the rod ends out of a variety of material. Aluminum, 7075 T6. We also make them out of mild steel, which we C1045 steel. We also make them out of chromoly, 4130 heat treated.
Nice.
Okay. So we have a variety of product. We do some out of stainless, but we don't do a lot in stainless right now.
Well, and that speaks really to the variety of what rod ends are. They're kind of the unsung heroes of many different things, whether we're talking the industrial world and a variety of different machines, of course, in the world of racing, trucks, off-road trucks, drag racing, they're all over the place. So when we look at something like a rod end for, let's say, a rock crawler like this, or even a race car, what do we need to be thinking about for those applications?
Well, first off, you want to make sure that you have the strength part matched up for what it's actually going to be working with. The other thing is the size. On a suspension component, especially like on a rock bouncer, you don't want to put something in a suspension that's 3/4 of an inch.
Sure.
Because it's probably not going to hold up.
Right.
So anyhow, it's going to be very beefy, such as an inch hole with an 1 1/4 thread.
And tell me what I'm seeing here.
Well, this is a product that we manufacture. The product itself has an injection molded race. Nyla fiber is the product that we've developed. It is a combination of a 6 nylon.
Okay.
Okay. Also, it has fiberglass infusion, as well as lubricants and some other chemicals. The ball is loaded in a slot across here.
Okay.
Then we come back, and through those slots we injection mold the material. As you can see, there is a groove cut all the way through the body, and this injection molded material, the Nyla fiber, goes all the way around it.
You know, Rod End Supply, we're talking, you supply folks like SpaceX, you supply folks like very high profile race teams, and it's not just rod ends. You guys have great machining capability, also for the shock absorber industry, I understand.
Yes, we do a lot of different parts for the shock absorber industry, some of the valving bodies, the ends. We also supply ends with the bearings in them. We also supply them just with the standard bearings as well.
Well, John is over with the rock bouncer. He has an application that we need to get a couple of, or at least one new rod end in, because this thing's got the tar beaten out of it like all these trucks are. So John, what are you working on over there?
Yeah, I got it, Brian. Well, think about this. There's 12 rod ends on the front of this rock bouncer, and there's 12 rod ends on the back. That's 24. Let me bring you up to speed. I actually got a tie rod end here. You got a rod end on this side, a rod end on this side. A couple of bolts and nuts right there. Took them off, a little brute force because they're on there pretty heavy. And then you can go ahead and just tap your rod end right off of there. Once you get your rod end off, here it is. You can see it. Got one on this end, on this end. I'll bring it up here. Bob, would you give me a hand right here and explain what we're going to do? We're going to replace these things.
Yes, we're going to replace these ends. In fact, we're going to replace all of them. First thing we do, let's get a measurement so we don't have to change the geometry of the unit. I go from center of the ball to center of the ball, 11 3/4 inches.
Now that's really important because we're talking about the toe of the vehicle. Once you do that, you get those out. You want to put them back in the same place because that affects the toe, which is alignment angles.
That's correct. A lot of times when you put the rod ends in and out of the different tubes that you use never sees. Makes it easy break them off, take them out. Rod ends really need to be replaced a minimum of once a year, just from the simple fact of all the brute force that these things have to take.
Yeah, it's going to do that. And Bob, I broke these loose earlier. Used the leverage of the vehicle to break them loose because I know they can be a bear. So we'll go ahead and unscrew this one, and then what are we going to do is replace it with the other one. And just like Bob said, I mean, you think about that. This rock crawler, not only does this have to turn the actual wheels on the outside with the steering rack here, this thing's taking the abuse of slammed against the rocks up and down every time it's hitting. You know, we still got, what do we got, 11 left on the front, 12 on the back. So Bob, what do you say we take this out when we get done? Brian's got a car in the parking lot. Let's bounce over it a few times. You stick around. There's plenty more of Motorhead Garage right after this break.
Motorhead Garage, presented by Dustless Blasting, coming to you from Borla Commerce Park.
Welcome back to Motorhead Garage, presented by Dustless Blasting. We have this killer rock crawler in our shop today. We have it in here for a couple reasons. The first, a tune-up. We hit up Rock Auto and grabbed some parts and pieces to make this thing run better. Some coil packs, some plug wires. This thing's all tuned up and ready to go. Those coil packs and plug wires are going to help us get some great heat in the combustion chamber, and that's where you want heat in a rig like this. You don't want it around the master cylinder. You certainly don't want it around the battery either. We're using a product called Heat Sheets to help deflect that heat away, and John's with the folk from Heat Sheets right now to tell you how they can make your ride more comfortable to drive in and better to operate.
Well, Brian's exactly right. Heat in the combustion chamber is a good thing, but you know, whether it's a farm tractor, a car like this one, or machinery, or a lawnmower, heat's usually the enemy. Clint from Heat Sheets. Clint, you've devised a product that actually deflects the heat. It's going to save our heat problem. Tell me about it.
We actually got this, the idea from NOS stuff, you know, factory applications. And what it is it's an aluminum heat shielding product, ultralight, corrugated, resists heat up to 1200 degrees. It's rigid, it stays in place where you put it, but it's easy to mold and shape into the application that you need. So.
Really cool. I'll tell you what, I'll switch with you.
All right.
Let's go ahead and try a little harder piece. I'll let you do it, and I'll kind of help you along.
Absolutely.
What's this one going to be for?
So this one's for the tunnel, and we already cut out a spot for the shifter here, and you know that's to keep heat obviously out of the passenger's compartment.
Okay, cool.
And one of the important things is to leave that air gap there so that you're not attaching this directly to the material. Allowing that air gap keeps it from heat soaking and continually cooling. So what we can do is just bend these corners like this so that we can keep a little bit of an air gap there.
Now, a lot of products go right to either the frame or inside.
Right,
and what that does, it actually heat soaks, doesn't it?
Right. And then once it gets hot, it just stays hot. So with this, it's able to continue to cool down and hopefully just doesn't get hot at all. So with this one, you can just set it up in there.
Okay.
And then just press it where you need it to go.
Nice. Okay,
Kind of get a good fit in there.
Yep.
And then, like I said, we'll bring it back down just to make sure these things are bent for us a little bit. So we've got some tabs to stand off and give us that that air cushion that I was talking about.
Yeah, I mean, if we're going to use an automatic or manual, either one, but an automatic, I mean, we've got a torque converter right here developing a massive amount of heat. And, you know, once we start pumping that into the cabin here, we're going to have issues. So this is nice. So we got an air gap in between there. So no matter what, we're flowing down the road, we're getting the heat here.
Right.
And then it's going to transfer to the outside air instead of to the cabin of the car.
Correct. Let's just attach this temporarily.
Screw it right through there. Now we can also use some aluminum pieces, some studs in there.
That's what we like to do is use a spacer, like an aluminum spacer, so that we can get in there. And, you know what? I'm going to hit that piece there, so we'll just go ahead and
move it over here.
Yeah.
Now tell me, what are some applications we can use this for?
You know, forced induction's a big thing, so you've got turbochargers, superchargers, fuel systems, pumps, things that you want to keep from getting hot. See if I can get a better one on this side.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, when you're talking about forced induction, it's all about getting that cold air in there, so if we can deflect the heat, that's a good thing.
Correct.
What about fuel systems? I mean, that's huge.
You know, with fuel systems, obviously you need to keep your fuel temperatures down so that you don't have detonation issues and things like that. And this is huge for that because, like I said, it allows that layer of air and it gives you a rigid shield that you can put up that's not going to fall off or go out of shape.
Right. That's pretty tight right there.
So
that looks
there you
good.
go.
Okay. So tell me about your website. Where can we find the product? It's going to work real well here.
Heatsheetshielding.com.
Heatsheetshielding.com. Very good. Well, we'll get there. You know what? I'm going to take a piece of this home with me if you don't mind, because if you look right here, I got a lawnmower at the house. I'll tell you what, if I put a heat shield there, I could put that belt on and off without getting burned every time. While we finish up the Mustang here, check this out.
Carroll Shelby's legacy as a championship race driver, a championship chili cook, and one of the great innovators and car builders of his era actually includes Z-Max. And on this week's Z-Max Minute, I'm here with Lenny from Z-Max. Carroll Shelby loved this stuff.
He loved this stuff. He knew that it cleaned out the carbon deposits, helped soak into the metal and protect the vehicles. He put his reputation on the line and used Z-Max from the get-go in all of his vehicles. When I'd see him at car shows, he'd be out there telling all the different cars, folks, the car lovers, you got to get some of this in your car. He meant it from the heart. It was always great to see him promoting Z-Max.
Guy who put his money where his mouth is. He builds a Shelby Series 1. They designed it from the ground up, had Oldsmobile power, and every one of those that left the factory, bam.
Z-Max right in there. He knew that by being able to protect that metal, extend the life of the vehicle, and keep it clean throughout the fuel system, the engine, the transmission, that those vehicles would perform at their ultimate.
A famously honest guy who never minced words. If he didn't believe in it, he would not have talked about it at all.
Absolutely. Carroll Shelby's reputation, the Z-Max product, won. And he made sure that it was in all of his vehicles.
Whether we're talking about your fuel system, your transmission, or the hard parts of your engine, Z-Max provides a great solution to not only extend their life, but increase their performance and allow you to spend many more miles on the road, whether you're in a Shelby Cobra or your normal everyday commuter car. Lenny, thanks for coming in. It's always fun to talk about Carroll Shelby. And if you want more information on Z-Max, visit zmax.com. We'll be right back with more Motorhead Garage right after this.
Presented by Dustless Blasting is being brought to you by Car Top Cargo Carriers. Just get in the car and go. Reese Towing, pioneering performance. Borla, the world's most winning exhaust. And by Dustless Blasting. It's the future of surface preparation.
Welcome back to Motorhead Garage, presented by Dustless Blasting. You know, you don't even need lead weights to balance tires anymore. They fly off and they're hazardous to the actual environment. Actually, Brian, this truck doesn't even use lead weights on the outside of the rim. It uses stick-ons on the inside, and they fly off all the time.
Yeah, if you're going to go four-wheeling with this thing, or maybe you get an ATV, it's going to get abused, or maybe you get a heavy truck tire, the stick-on weights are not the best solution. The best solution is bead balancing, and checkered flag tire balance beads are the way you want to go here. The couple reasons why. One is, as the tire goes down the road, these beads are actually going to go rotating inside the tire, and they're going to offset any of the weight differential, so you're going to have a nice balance as you go down. As we all know, a balanced tire has a way longer shelf life than a tire that's unbalanced.
And that's for sure. I mean, we're talking about motorcycles, semis, ATVs, UTVs, those big tires that are hard to balance, the 38s, 40, 42s. I mean, the bigger the tire, this is a perfect application.
So the checkered flag beads come in 8-ounce bags, but not just by themselves. What else do they come with, John?
Yeah, they actually come with a filtered cap, which is really nice because you order that, you're going to get the tool to remove the Schrader valve and some new Schrader valves. And once you do that, it's a matter of just pouring them in. Let's get started. We got our tire down there.
Yeah, a lot of people think you got to go to a tire shop to actually install these beads, and those people are wrong. We're going to show you why. You can actually do this at home. Now, what we're going to show you is how to break a bead on a tire in a safe way using a floor jack and some ratchet straps. First thing we got to do, take the Schrader valve out and let the air out of the tire.
Yeah, when you order them, you get the actual Schrader valve removal tool, which is super nice. So I just put that in. I'm going to turn the Schrader valve here and pop it out. Make sure we get all the air out of the system.
You know, one of the things to think about, too, with the tire balancing bead is you need to know how much volume to put inside the tire. Now, the cool thing is Checkered Flag's website, 4tirebeads.com, actually has a chart that tells you exactly how much weight or how much weight in beads you need to put in the tire. So for our case, this is a 295/70 series tire, and it told us that we need 8 ounces, which is going to be 1 bag. So, air's coming out of the tire. We're going to take our ratchet strap here. We're going to thread it through the tire, and I'm going to take the actual binder end of it on my side.
And we got it hooked to the jack, so it's going to secure to the jack. So when we push up on the jack, we'll have the tension on the back of the bead to go ahead and break the bead, which is nice.
Yeah, the 2 hooks for the strap are actually hooked to the front axle on the jack. We're going to then run our ratchet strap around underneath our floor jack, which is going to, again, anchor it to where we need it to go.
All right.
And then it's going to be time to feed this bad boy right into our binder. Take out our slack. What we've created here really is a nice, almost like a vise. So as we secure this down to the jack, literally that's what we've done. We secured the tire to the jack. We're going to actually use the action of the jack pumping up as it's forcing basically against itself to break the inside of the bead loose.
Now, really key here, make sure the air is all out. Then you want to come over, you want to take a look underneath. Make sure you're not touching the rim. You don't want to do any damage to the rim, and get as close as the bead as you can. It's not going to take much. Once we start jacking up on it, it's going to push. Let me make sure I'm in the right place. Yeah, it's absolutely perfect. Right next to the bead here, but up just a hair higher. I'm going to go ahead and jack it up a couple times, and when we do that, this is holding it down to the actual jack itself. We break this bead loose, it's going to go up into the drop center. We're going to be in good shape. Brian, you can take the ratchet strap off. I feel the beads off. I'm going to go ahead and drop the jack stand down.
Perfect. Yeah, it wasn't too bad. I mean, once we, once the pressure comes out, jack puts a little bit of pressure on the inside. Again, you just want to make sure the jack is definitely not touching the wheel. You want it on the sidewall of the tire.
Right, now we can basically flip the tire over, drop it back on this side. Let's see what it looks like. Oh yeah, we got it all the way down.
Yep, we got a nice opening for our beads. Now,
cool.
You go to FordTireBeads.com. That's the website for Checkered Flag. And what it's going to do is going to give you a sizing chart for the weight of beads to put in what size tire. This being the 295/70 series tire, told us to put 8 ounces in. That's one bag. That's easy.
That was easy. That's just that easy. Oh, you can hear them rocking around in there. That's pretty cool. Drop it down back like this. Remember, they gave you the Schrader valve, so we actually have it right here. Use the other tool. We'll go ahead and replace it with a new one. That'll be nice. Put that in there. Secure it down. We know our beads in there, they're going to do the job. This is a big truck tire, so this is going to work well.
Yeah, and this truck gets used off-road and everything else, and if you're bouncing this thing around in rocks and mud and stuff, you're going to end up catching those inner stuck-on weights and tear them off.
Forget about it, yep.
Tire's been there now, the beads are going to be there for the life of the tire, and we're going to go get some air in this thing and try to get our bead to seat.
There you go, all right. And if you don't get your bead to seat, that's fine. Just go ahead and take your Schrader valve out, blast some air in there, it'll seat to it. We're starting to seat, we're good there. Just go to FordTireBeads.com, balance your tires for the life of the tire. Now, if you have a cool product you want to get on Motorhead Garage, just email Jeff@MastersTV.com. We're out of time for today, so we'll definitely see you next week, right here at Motorhead Garage with Brian and I.